Welcome to the video lecture series on project report preparation. The objective of these videos is to guide you through your project report preparation. So before I actually tell you about how your project report is to be prepared, let me acquaint you with some of the aspects normally you encounter in a project report. Suppose if you observe a textbook, you always see in a textbook front pages before the actual content begins. What are these front pages? The front pages comprise of cover page, which has a beautiful title, and then normally an image on the textbook cover which captures the sense of the subject of that book and probably author names. And then if you flip the pages, you will see preface. A preface normally speaks about what is the textbook is meant for, whom is it meant for, whom is it not meant for. It introduces the authors. And then you see acknowledgement space, which normally thanks all the people who have contributed for that book. And then you see the table of contents, the chapter names, the page on which they start. You would also see a list of figures and the page number on which each figure appears. A list of tables, table names, table numbers, and page numbers on which the tables appear. And then, followed by the front pages, you will have the content pages. So you can clearly distinguish these two categories. What are content pages? Content pages are your actual material of the book, which is titled as chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and so on. And then these content pages, chapters, are followed by references. References are normally the journal publications, conference proceedings, or other textbooks, or other websites from which the content has been discussed in these content page chapters. So each reference is normally a citation comprising of author names and the title of the article or title of the chapter, and then the book in which it is published or the journal in which it is published, and the volume number, the year of publication, the publisher name, and so on. And at the end you may also have an index so that you can random access different topics. You have all the topic names and the pages on which these topics appear. So you can make a random access to the topic you like or to the topic of your interest. For that purpose, index is provided. And you also observe that throughout the textbook, the font type and size is uniform for various components. For example, if you take the chapter titles, every chapter titles appears in the same font and size. Look at the section headings, 2.1, 2.2, or 2.1.1. All of them appear in the same style. So that's quite typical of any textbook. And the images have labels. Tables have captions. And in addition, you also find that front pages are numbered in Roman numerals. Of course, they may be numbered at the top or bottom, or for odd page on one side and even page on another side. Of course, our project report is only one-sided report, so we don't have odd and even pages. This graphic shows you that even pages are numbered at the top and odd pages are numbered at the bottom. But of course, what we have to grasp from this is front pages are normally numbered in Roman numerals. We will have a standard numbering format. They will be bottom centered. And then chapter content pages, chapter 1, chapter 2, these pages, they are numbered in Arabic numerals 1, 2, 3. For example, here you see the page number 19. Here you will see the page number. Here it is at the left top probably for even page, and bottom right for the odd number page. And as I said, we will have numbers only at bottom centered. And look at this chapter title, chapter 9, genetic algorithms. So chapter 8 and chapter 10 also would be formatted in the same style. And then each chapter begins with one or more introductory chapters kind of thing, introductory paragraphs. So you will have one or two introductory paragraphs. Then the actual sections start. And sections may consist of subsections. So after the introductory paragraph or paragraphs, you will have the sections. For example, in the figure shown here, you see a section which is numbered as 9.5. This is numbered as 9.5. Genetic programming. And this section once again begins with an introductory paragraph. And then a subsection. A subsection once again begins with the first paragraph unindented and subsequent paragraphs indented. So this is a normal practice followed in any book or report. Every time you have some introduction and then subsections, subsections will carry multiple paragraphs. The first paragraph is not indented. Other paragraphs are all indented by one tab, indented by one tab. And numbering also. Chapter, section, subsection. This is the hierarchy. So 9.5.1 is the first subsection in the fifth section of chapter 9. So what you would have preceding 9.5 is 9.1, 9.2, 9.3 and 9.4, which may contain subsections in themselves. For example, 9.2.1, 9.2.2. And as I said, indentation is done from the second paragraph of each section. And then citation index appears in the running text. If you refer to some content which is available in journals or conference proceedings or in the websites or in video lectures at times, so you have to cite that work. You have to mention that. Citation here means you have to mention that work. And all such works mentioned, all such publications mentioned in your text should appear at the end as a collection. And that's normally called as bibliography. The complete list of citations or references which you have referred to in your text. Typically, you will refer to some source by a number, 16, 23, 15. These are all citation indices. What do they mean? They actually are the numbers corresponding to the complete description of some material which was referred here. For example, 15 is a publication in IEEE Transactions on Information Theory, which appears in pages 50 and 55. The author's cover TM, it's the author name, published in 1968. Similarly, the citation 16 is once again a transactions publication. So this is how you find that you have a bibliography which appears at the end of the book, and definitely you should know that whatever is cited, it should appear in the bibliography, and whatever appears in the bibliography, it should be its citation index should appear in the text. Redundantly, you don't provide some generic list of references in the form of bibliography. No, whatever you refer, whatever you cite should appear in the bibliography. And similarly, when it comes to figures and tables, figures will have captions at the bottom, and then normally a cross reference appears while the figure is being explained in the body text. For example, figure 9.1 illustrates blah blah blah. And figure numbering also has a systematic style. 9.1 means the first figure in the 9th chapter. You don't have multi-level numbering, you have only single level numbering. Chapter number dot the sequence number of the figure in that chapter. In the next chapter, once again, the sequence number of the figures begin from 1. And the cross reference appears in the body text. Tables. Tables are also similar to figures. The only difference is a more widely followed standard is tables have captions at the top and figures have captions at the bottom. But most of the other things are one and the same. And then equations. One important thing regarding equations is they are not formatted, they are not edited with the regular text. This is often the biggest mistake done in most of the reports which I have seen. Equations are edited all together with a different package. Normally you use an equation editor, you have to. The text style of the equation is entirely different from the body text that appears in a report or textbook. You can very clearly see here that the style of the equation is altogether different. The font used is different. The style is different. The size is different. And you can have inline equations also. This is called as inline equation. So inline equations are also edited with the same style. So you can see the contrast between formatting of equations and the formatting of the body text. So you have to take care of that. And then equations are numbered once again. The numbering style is similar to the numbering style of the tables and the figures. Chapter number followed by the sequence number of the equation in that chapter. Most of the time equations are centered. They are body text centered. And the equation number appears as right justified. And once again, a cross reference to the equation appears in the text. So if equation 4.10 means this equation. So this is how normally the equations appear. So I believe these aspects should give you what are the important elements in a project report, what should you emphasize on, and what should you take care of. And normally, while preparing a project report, there would be a lot of challenges. Some of the typical issues you face are, you have gone halfway through your project report and then somewhere you wanted to insert a figure. So if you insert a figure, you see that all the subsequent figures in that chapter should change their number. So would you expect the number to change automatically, or would you go to each and every figure and change by yourself? And that's not enough that you change the number of the figure. By chance, if you have any cross reference in the body text, that cross reference also has to be changed. This is typically a challenge that is encountered while preparing theses and project reports. And what I said is true not only with figures, the same thing may happen with the tables, equations. You may suddenly change your mind and insert an equation, an additional equation. You go back and insert an additional equation, and that will have a ripple effect. So its effect will ripple through the end of the chapter. Similarly, if you want to insert a citation additionally, then the whole sequence numbers would get changed, both in the bibliography and also in the body text. And same thing may happen with sections also. You insert a new section. And of course, at the end, it may happen with chapters also, when you have additionally insert a chapter before chapter 3. So if you additionally insert a chapter before chapter 3, then chapter 3 should become chapter 4. And the earlier section 3.1 now should become 4.1. The equation number should change. And the table figure number should change. So you realize that you should follow a methodology where all these changes are automatically taken care of, rather than pull your manual interference into the changes. So that's where I conclude this introductory video on what are the important aspects of project report preparation. Thank you.